Hi everyone, Sri Vignesh here. So this is day 13 of me explaining things in English and sharing my learnings. So as I'm preparing for PL 300 exam, topic for today is manage workspace and dataset in Power BI. This is a Power BI service, and in second module we are starting the second module, and topic for today is use Power BI gateway to connect to on-premises data sources and configure a semantic model schedule refresh and configure incremental refresh settings. So let's go to the Notion. So what is the Power BI gateway? It is a bridge kind of thing. It acts like a bridge for a data source and the users. So if you are working in an organization and you want to securely transfer the data from your local computer to its users, you can use this gateway, and it is fully secured. So what are the types of this gateway mode? So there are two modes. One is organizational mode. The entire organization or the people who have the access to this can view the data set. And personal mode is nothing but only one person can use that. And if you are a person who is only creating a report for an organization, and or you are doing a solo project, you can use this personal mode. Otherwise, the organizational mode will be very useful. So users of an on-premises gateway. So this is how the steps will be in the back end of the data gateway. So creating the query. So first, if you are request for a data, it will create a request and secure the login info. This is the first step. After it, this will send the request and login info to the queuing process. It is like a waiting in a queue for something. And after that, the processing uh, will be happen by the Azure Service Bus. So it will evaluate the login ID and the information, everything. And if it is okay, it will establish a connection with the data source. So after getting the connection, it will run a query. So it is like a clicking go button in any game. So when the query is run, it will be connecting to the data source and the result will be produced and you will be getting the data source. So this is a theoretical explanation. If you want more practical explanation, you can go to YouTube and search for detailed gateway explanation. So for this video, for the scope of this video is not explaining the whole thing, but giving the gist about the gateway. So let's move to the next topic. So configure a semantic model schedule refresh. So what is a schedule refresh? Schedule refresh is a feature that automates the refresh without human intervention. So you need not to manually update the refresh every time you want. Instead, you can schedule a refresh. So it will be like every day evening or every morning. You can tell the time, and it will be refreshed based on that. So if you are working in an organization or if you are working in a project that involves the sales dashboard, and if you want to keep on updating the sales records to see the metrics of the sales, so it is not possible to every time a human can do the refresh, right? So in that case, you can schedule the refresh for semantic model. If you By doing like this, you can update the recent information and you can get the recent insights. So this is the simple uh, what is that simple story behind it. So let's see how to set up the schedule refresh. Let's go to the Power BI service. So here I'm using the data flow, and semantic model and data flow are very similar in many cases. So anything I do for data flow here will work for semantic model, and I don't have currently any semantic model here, so I'm doing for data flow. So let's see how to set a schedule refresh. So if you go to the model and if you can click this button, it is called a schedule refresh. If you click this, you will go to the data flows, and after that you can click to the refresh here. And the first one is time zone. So I am from India, so I'm going to set my timing. So this is my timing, and click on configure as schedule refresh, and I want this to be happen daily. So I click daily here, and let me add a time. So every morning at 9 a.m. I should have refresh for my data. So this is how it should be. And if the scheduled refresh failures, notification will be sent to me, the data owner. So if I want to assign some of my colleagues, I can go to these contacts and I can click the email address of them. So for now, this is enough for me. I am clicking apply. So it have applied, and let's go to the, yeah. So before, it was not like only refresh is the refreshed column is uh, have the value, and now the next refresh column has some value. So what it says, so the today date is 11th November 2024. The next day is 12th November, and the next refresh will perform at take place at 9 a.m. in the morning. So this is how you should schedule refresh, and this is very simple and easy process. So perform an on-demand refresh. So what is performing an on-demand refresh? So it is nothing but sometimes the scheduled refresh may not work in some cases, and in that case we can click that on-demand refresh. So if you click that, the refreshing, though it will show a notification that is refreshing a data, and here it will be loading, and after that it will be refreshed manually. So this is how you should perform an on-demand refresh also, and check the refresh status and history. So why we have to check the refresh status and history? Because in some cases the scheduled refresh will not be performed very well. In that case, we may encounter some errors because of a failed scheduled refresh. So we have to check the refresh history frequently to fix that error. So how to see the refresh history? Let me show. So if you click on three ellipses, three dots here, and go to refresh history here, and it will show the refresh mode and the status of the refresh. So now refresh is in process, and I have did many refresh that is on demand. And if you find any mistakes or any errors here, you can go to the download section, and it will download as an Excel. You can analyze the errors in that. So yeah, that's it for this topic. um, so the last topic for today is configure incremental refresh. So incremental refresh is nothing but a feature in Power BI which allows to refresh when the data is changed or mm, when the data is updated. So it will not disturb the historical data. It will update only the new data. So as it updates the new data, it will quickly refreshes and more reliable refreshes. It will not need like a scheduled refresh. So it will not need for like uh, long running data connections. So reduced resources consumption, and also there is some start date and some end date for refresh. So there will be not more resource will be used here. So these are the advantages, and let's see how to configure it. So there are four steps to do this, and the first one is define filter parameters. So I have a data flow here. So it is like doing in Power Query. I'm doing in Power BI service. So the same thing will be here, and I'm going to any one of the table, and I'm going to set a parameter, date and time, data type. Yes, the tables are loaded now. You can go to manage parameters and create new parameters, and this should be like this is I will name this as range start. So from this date I have to start my refresh, and the date type is date and time, data type is date and time, and it is okay with any value. and I have to enter some of the dates, and in this case I'm entering, so I have to start from Jan 1 2018 and 12 a.m. So this is my start time, and I'm going to copy this and click OK. And the range start parameters is created, and I'm going to create another parameter, that is range, and the type of it is date and time. And here I'm going to change the date, that is 10 January 2018. So I'm clicking OK here. So now we have created two parameters, that is from range start to range end. So we have to assign this to the particular date column. So this is my sales by stores table, and here I have transaction date. So you should have a date and time column to assign the parameters to the column. So you have to ensure that you have, whether you are having a date column or data time column, it is necessary to have a date and time column. So here I'm going to date and time filters. So I'm clicking, so equals to, so here I'm clicking is after and equal to, and here I'm clicking is before, to avoid the duplicating or dual counting of the rows. So here I click the parameter, and here also I click the parameter. So from, so it's after and equal to this start date, and this before the end date. We have to going to do a incremental refresh. So we have to create two parameters called, one is range start, another one is range end. So this is to define from this date to this date you give me the refresh. So I'm clicking OK here. So it is the rows are filtered by the parameters. It is taking some time. Yeah, it is loaded, and I'm going to save and close this. It is validating the query, and it will take some time. And after doing this, it will ask me a refresh. I have to give refresh now. So it will take some time to refresh the data. So after refreshing this, we can schedule incremental refresh. So now we have created a range start and range end rate, right? So we are going to assign incremental refresh for sales by stores. We can go to the small icon and click this, and this is incremental refresh settings, and I can on this, and I have to select the transaction date, that is a date and time column, and store rows from the past. So I want last 5 years data to be stored, so that it is storing the last 5 years data rows, and so last 10 days data should be refreshed for me. So refresh rows from past 10 days, and detect if any changes occurs in the transaction date, you should refresh. I'm saying that, and only refresh after the completion of days. So if the date is completed, and then only the incremental refresh will happen. So I'm clicking this and clicking save. The mashup document contains some duplicate query name. So I'm not sure about this error, and this is because of some Power Query error. So I will troubleshoot it later. But this is how you should set up incremental refresh. You will not get any error, and after doing this, you will get a notification here, that is incremental refresh is set up, and this is how you should configure incremental refresh. So that's it for today's video. And if you are an expert watching my video and find any mistakes or miscommunication, please let me know in the comment section. I'm open to learn from you. Thank you.